Why is that red? I was like, is it raining blood now? Because that's just too much. That's too much. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Sweet Home Season 2. We're now on to episode 5. So the last episode, we had quite a bit of action, particularly around Eunyu. We saw that she's kind of running this underground camp that she's working or living in. I shouldn't say running, but she's doing her own thing. She's not necessarily listening to the military. She's going out on runs on her own. And we see that the other person who's kind of running things, I can't remember her name now, but she's the lady who kind of is understood and revered by the other people that are living in this subway system. And anyway, she sends a couple of men out to follow Eunyu because I think she thinks that Eunyu's up to something she shouldn't be doing. I'm not sure. But anyways, we see that these guys, one of them gets the bright idea that he should try to take Eunyu out, and it results in a very interesting battle because a monster shows up, but this monster is actually one that was created by who I'm assuming is another neo-human who we were introduced to. And she seems to have the ability to monsterize other people or transfer her monsterization to other people. I'm not sure which one it is yet, but that's what it looked like. And anyway, this ends up, taking care of that issue for Eunyu, but it doesn't necessarily end her danger. We see that shortly after this battle, she thinks that her brother, Eunhyuk, I think it's Eunhyuk was his name, but anyway, she thinks that her brother has monsterized, but is following her around and protecting her. And we don't know if that's true or not, but it's feeling like she said that he's shown up a couple of times to save her. But anyway, we see that the girl who created the monster that ended up inadvertently or directly saving Eunyu, I'm not sure yet. She is approaching Eunyu at the end of the episode, and I'm not sure where that's going to go because we now know as an audience that all this girl has to do is touch Eunyu and then she's pretty much done for. So we'll have to see what goes on with that. Outside of that, a lot of it was just around the world. Now that we fast forwarded a year forward, how this surviving group is living, the tensions that still exist underground and with the military. And we're seeing that people are just not loving the way things are and not liking the fact that they've been living underground for almost a year and things are not getting any easier. So that's basically the episode. I'm excited to get into this one and see what this other neo-human is. I like the idea of there being finally a girl who has this ability, especially since we've got, well, actually we don't at the moment have Hyunsu, but we have Hyunsu and the Changeling who are still out there. So I'm glad that we're seeing other neo-humans, and I'm wondering if we're all going to meet up at some point. So let's jump into the episode. But just before I do, just a reminder that I do a lot of reactions here on this channel to all kinds of good stuff, including other K-dramas. So if you'd like to support me on this journey or any of the other ones, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And if you like this video, please show it some love with the like button and some comments below. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right about now. Come on, ladies, we ain't got to fight. We should work together. Birds of a feather. Don't touch her.
괜찮아 너?
No, no, no. Interesting.
죽이려고? 이제야 착해졌는데 저리 가.
Okay. She chose not to touch you there. She had the option. So you can control them. So her thing is just like we saw with Hyunsu. Hyunsu is the same ability, but I don't think he realizes it yet.
네가 이은유야? 네가 날 어떻게 알아? 너 때문에 다 사라졌어. 나쁜 애들 아닌데.
Oh. Oh, it's the baby. It's the baby from before.
쟤는 안 돼. 돌아가자.
She saved you, that little baby, actually, because if you touched her... Yeah, you need to go, by the way. Or did you forget the fact that your leg is entirely jacked up? Meanwhile, at this fustercluck...
알겠습니다.
I was about to say, I don't think we should leave her. I don't think she's going to hurt anyone, but we never know. And also, we already know that not everybody cares whether or not they're benevolent. They're just going to want them gone.
외벽 지역에서 지뢰가 터진 거야. 소리만 듣고 왔습니까?
I was about to say, not a lot of things are going to make noise like that anymore. Unless people just have a pocket full of grenades. Oh. Well. Yeah, the noise. And fire's not going to work right now. I just realized it's raining like cats and dogs. There's no way. I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to do here, because we all know guns are, for the most part, ineffectual. So all of them are moving like that just because... What the hell was that? Was that a tree monster? Excuse me? Now we've got performing art monsters? What the... I'm pretty sure we saw a Treebeard back there, guys. What's going on? Because there's no way y'all are going to be able to take him down. Whatever it is. Besides, it doesn't matter. Look how wet it is. Fire ain't going to catch right now. Well, I mean, I guess gas will, but not enough. No, none of those fit that description. They're running from something. When the monsters are scared of a monster, that's the problem. Yeah, the birds are like, we out. Peace out, folks. We tried to warn y'all. I thought they were all together, but now I realize that there's 2 units. Watch it be a bunny. Wow. Okay, no, it was actually that. Damn. Y'all weren't ready. Why do they look like Transformers? I'm confused. They all look the same. I'm so confused because before last season, it felt like all the monsters were unique, and now it looks like there's groupings and babies. Like, I'm so confused. Gino even gonna be around to be ready? Sue's got a good shot. Okay. I mean, if you land this shot, sir, it might be the sexiest thing you've done all season. Forever, from the sounds of things. Exhale, focus, see your target, be the target. You are the target. That was hot. We know who was top marksman in his military class. All right, let's go. Meanwhile, you're still limping out here. Why is that red? Oh, okay, it's already, okay. I was like, is it raining blood now? Because that's just too much. That's too much.
앞으로 괴물은 물로 터뜨리지 않습니다. 스타디움만 안전하면 됐어. 그야 그렇지만 캠프에 아무 일도 없는데 괜히 날린 거면요.
밥은 알겠지. That's all we can do. I mean, honestly, the shelter is, I don't know what to say. Like, I've never been in this situation. I really pray I never am. But it's like, what are you going to do? The shelter's not a long-term solution anyways. Like, people are going to start getting sick. It's not ideal. Like I said, I'm still on the fence with this lady because I'm like, if she turns, then her illness will be gone. But we don't know that she's going to be a nice monster. Let's hope so. Her desire, like she said, was just to live. She just wants to live. And I think she wants to protect her son. And those are 2 pretty good causes. Oh, I forgot about him. Is he still a monster? I'm scared. That's going to kill his mom, honestly. We didn't see him turn, though. His eyes just glazed over, so I don't know.
네가 죽을 수도 있었어.
후회하고 싶지 않아서 그랬습니다.
Pretty much.
그 기분 너무 잘 알아서 놓지 못했습니다.
Fair. The world sucks, but in the end, especially in situations like this, all you got left is your morals, right? So why would he dismiss you, by the way? Like, soldiers are dropping by the dozen. We can't afford to lose anybody who's actually trained, especially when you did something to save someone's life.
외벽쪽 폭발 몇 장입니까?
About that.
내부 작업 도중에 이탈자가 발생했다. 줄을 밟아 해체하는 과정 중에 발생한 사고였어.
It's like, so we wasted our C4.
막았으면 된 거야.
이탈자는요? 방수를 하셨습니까?
In a way.
격리? 제가 생산 있게 고집을 피워서.
Oh, okay.
1년 동안 애들 반 이상이 죽어나갔습니다.
That was gonna happen regardless, bro. I hate to say it, but
상사님은 이제 여기 지키십시오. 이제 전 애들 지킬 겁니다.
that's gonna work out well.
그리고 오전 조무 이택서를 입구에서 발견했습니다.
You brought him back? I'm scared. I don't know, because we didn't see him show any symptoms, but the eye, I don't know. Don't drink that, it'll kill you. All right. Guess you got nothing to lose. For the record, kids at home, never drink rubbing alcohol. It's not the type that you're supposed to consume. Okay? Ever.
어차피 천국 갈 건데.
Wait, is that the
뭐
scientist?
여기랑 별다를 것도
The
없고.
torturer? Is he mad he's known to torture? Which case, sorry, in your case, continue to drink the rubbing alcohol. And drink it all, actually.
깨끗하게 청소하려고 그랬는데 실패한 거라고.
Yeah, you're still here.
그래서 당신들이 여기 살아있는
It was his hand that's infected. So I've been trying to figure out what's going on with his hand. I forgot he was shot in his hand. I'm glad it's infected.
진짜 재밌는 스토리가 있는데 말해줄까?
Not from you, creepy. I really don't. What did you just take? Syringes? Girl, I'm gonna need you to move faster because darkness is gonna come soon. And you out here in the dark does not sound like a good idea. What? People just popping out of the grass like Wookiees? What's going on?
한번 볼까?
Oh no, this is the guy who was on the bus.
뭐해? 맘안 봐?
I don't know who the girl is though. I get why you decided to stay out though.
상처 있는지 봐봐. 안 보이는 곳까지 차차차 다 뒤져보고.
Nook and cranny. I don't know him like that.
이게 뭐지?
Ah.
저 팔에 상처가 하나 있는데.
Oh, this is gonna wake him up. Mm-hmm. Back to his torture.
대인 것도 아니고 팀원도 아니고. 지병 있나?
그것도 잘 모르겠습니다.
이 친구 가족 없어?
Sort of.
혹시 모르니까 내가 좀 더 두고 볼게.
Maybe tie him down
별종 괴물 말이야. 잡아다 주면 훨씬 더 좋고. 혹시 알아?
and put it where.
그 별종 덕분에 괴물 아이 수수께끼가 풀릴지.
This isn't your facility, sir. This is just a place with a bunch of civilians. We're not gonna bring in monsters for studying, aka torturing.
괴물이 사람을 지켜.
It happens. Duh.
내가 돌아오라고 했잖아.
I don't like this girl.
내가 위험하다고.
But I suppose if your options are limited in the end of the world, you gotta just take what you can get.
괴물화는 전염되지 않는다고요. 틀렸어요. 괴물화는 공포와 불안으로 그러니까 싹을 잘라요. 그게 당신들이 할 일이잖아.
글쎄.
Everybody telling this man what his job is this episode. For real. It's getting a little rude.
괴물이 나타나는 걸까요? 아니면 자신이 괴물이 될지.
Exactly. From what I've seen, the people have been far worse than the monsters this far.
괴물이 되더라도 스스로 선택할 수 있다는 작은 희망을.
이런 세상에서 그런 게 다 무슨 소용이죠?
It's the only reason to keep living. Otherwise, go out there and take your chances, sis. Look, there's nothing wrong with being pragmatic. You have to be pragmatic, but no hope? What's the point of surviving? Bro! When did that happen? Oh, from the mine. Why wouldn't he just get help?
여항생제라도 꾸준히 맞아도 사람 구하기 귀찮으니까.
So this man's smuggling antibiotics to her, yet the old lady who's been suffering with her cancer for a year, you couldn't get her anything.
아니다. 나 신부님을 좋아해. 아니 그렇게
What?
말하면
Okay, well, that's honest. that's honest. Times of the essence. People are monsterizing on the daily. I'm not even gonna be mad at sis. That was a little bit bold for me, but you know what? End of the world and all.
용석이 하나 때문에 전부를 위험하게 할 순 없어.
증상자 하나 때문에 그 난리 치시더니
I was about to say, you kind of lost your ground on that one.
소대 전체의 의견이냐 물었어.
I think you're gonna find the answer is a
네
heck no.
마음으로 전우를 몇이나 잃어봤지.
Oh, I mean, that's rich coming from you, though. I mean, you wanted to go back before all this happened.
상사님 참 많이 비겁해지셨습니다.
Oh, so now it's cowardice? Last episode, you said that he was crazy because he wanted to go out and look for his men. Pot, kettle. Bro, you really should get some antibiotics. You had shrapnel in your back.
맛있어?
No,
이 상황에 밥이 들어가?
because he doesn't want to die?
웅석이 그거 타령한 거라니까요.
Ooh. Maybe too soon to be saying that. Yeah.
근심이 얼굴에 가득해가지고 아주
어?
그냥 딱 타령하는 놈 얼굴이었습니다.
Well,
험한 꼴 보이기 좀.
I mean, you really should have stopped the first time you said something. It's too soon.
거기까지 더 가지는 말자.
Put it back in your pants. No one's impressed. That looks atrocious, I'm not gonna lie. Out of sheer hunger, I just have to open my gullet and pour it down. Ma'am, okay, fine. You don't want them anymore, but people could use... Okay. My lord, did she go to the center of the earth? How is she still traveling?
괴물이다. 도둑놈 괴물.
That's right. Beat him with a ball, too. No, he deserves it. These kids were bullying him. Let him go.
너 두고 봐.
Okay, right. Why didn't you actually stop bleeding first?
맞는 놈, 뺏긴 놈이 나쁜 거래. 그래 된 세상이래. 누나도 그냥 또 죽여버려.
Wow.
혼자 당하지 말고.
김영수.
나도 그럴 거야.
Damn.
아빠 말 듣고 착하게 그러는데
Hmm.
하지 말라는 거 안 했는데 왜 다 먼저 죽었어?
He's got a
왜
point.
나만 남았어?
Hmm.
어른들이 하는 말 이제 안 믿어. 그러니까 누나는 하고 싶은 대로 살아. 나도 그럴 거야.
Yeah, he needs therapy. I've said this for a while now. Survivor's guilt's a real thing. And anger is definitely one of those stages. I feel for him, I do. I mean, I don't agree with anything he just said, but he's gonna need to lash out a bit. And this is not a great environment either. All these kids, bullies, everyone literally being at their worst selves as humans. Yeah, not a great environment for a developing mind at all. He went to look for his mama. He's been saying that for weeks. Y'all should have put him in there with his mama.
영수야.
Youngso, don't be a jerk.
우리 엄마 어딨어?
형네 엄마 잠 잤어.
Never mind.
그럼 엄마 안 죽어?
아니, 죽어. 사람들이 죽일 거거든.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any empathy in him right now. I'm sorry. But I get it because he was such a soft kid before this, right? And so it's just all coming out horrifically.
내가 뭔 죄를 그렇게 졌을까요?
죄안 짓고 사는 사람이 어딨어?
That's true.
엄마가 제일 수고.
None of us are perfect, honey. And no one deserves this, by the way.
괴물한테라도 물어봤어요.
Oh, yeah.
괴물아,
The conversations they
너라도
have.
뭐라고 말 좀 해봐라 했더니
Remember, we saw Hyunsu last season talking to his monster.
사람을 끝없이 괴롭히는 건 가장 가까이에 있는 사람이에요. 그 사람이 뭐 신인 괴물이고 그렇지. 자매님한테는 아드님이
It's a
그랬잖아요.
very interesting viewpoint. Very dark, though.
이게 진짜 아유 뭐예요? 왜?
아 그게
나 이런 거 너무 싫어.
뭐가 말입니까?
하면 손 먼저 올라가는.
True. But I have to say, I really feel that, again, pot calling the kettle black, considering what you did.
어쩌면 너보다 더 귀한 존재일지도 모르니까.
Ooh.
에? 가.
Slapping, I'm sorry, it's kind of funny. Just stop it!
이거 어떻게 된 거야? 기억 안 나?
엄마한테 가.
Bro, you could probably get more out of him if you just took him to his mother and then let him come back. It's horrible. I feel for him because, I mean, he knows what this means. Like, he's watched his mom be sick for a year. Let him have a day with her. Or not even a day, at least a couple of hours. God. What?
자 봐봐. 네가 다 나았어.
Oh. Well, congrats.
우리 좀 얘기 좀 한다 해줄 거야?
그럴게요.
The lies on both sides. Yeah, I think if you actually try to lie to her, we've already seen the eyes have gone black. She just wants to live and protect her son. Oh, great. She's about to do something foolish. Pooh! Damn! Damn, Unyu said, listen, if this is what you're doing.
네가 뭔데 끼어들어. 내 입장도 생각 좀 해주라. 내가 좀 오해를 부르는 스타일이라서.
I don't think you misunderstood.
알려도 소용없어. 그러니까 신경 쓰이게 하지 말고 죽을 거면 안 보이는 데 가서
Ooh. She said, you did this in a place where you wanted people to find you. If you really want to do that, you get to leave.
먹고 죽든가 때깔이라도 좋게.
And also, you were fighting. You didn't want to go. But I can imagine. It's hard. She's sick. She thinks her man's gone. Everybody's in a bad mood. But honey, life is precious. Even if it's not the best, not even if it's not a healthy one, the healthiest of ones, it's still a life. And it doesn't look like you're at the point where you should be giving up quite yet.
괴물이 된 너를 내 손으로 죽일 거야? 그러니까 나가서 죽어버리지 마. 그럼 내가 너무 허무하잖아.
That's such a monstrous thing to say, madam, when it sounds like you've got no proof that she actually did it. But she said, listen, if there's one thing I've learned about Unyu, if she took your husband's life, she'd admit it to your face, and she would have left. Oh, it's a cat. I thought it was a baby crying. I was like, what the? Why is there a baby out here? Last time we heard a baby crying in a place like this, it didn't turn out well.
또 어디서 주 터져와가지고.
너뿐 아니라 이것도 위험해질 수 있어.
Stop fighting and just make out. Life's too short. You're both pretty. Come on.
네가 찾는 사람. 아니, 괴물인가? 그 일이 있던 날, 넌 살아 있었어.
Oh, finally.
이거 간다. 그건 있을 수 없는 일이야.
Is it?
그 괴물이 널 지키는 거지. 넌 그 괴물을 찾는 거고.
He has your number, sis. 누구? There she is.
그 사람 지금 어디 있어? 알고 싶어? 그럼 나랑 같이 갈래?
Don't touch her. Or can she control it? I don't think she can because when she touched Junil, she was sleeping.
괴물화가 진행될 가능성은 진했음에도 증상이 없다.
Stop hurting him.
준일,
Let's go see your mom.
엄마 보러 가야지.
Don't touch her. I'm so dead ass.
혼자가 아니야.
Another red wrist.
애만 데려갈 거야.
That's her kid? We never saw what the kid looked like. Oh, that makes so much sense. I never even thought about it because I forgot that the kid grew like 6 times the size of a regular baby in a matter of hours. Wow. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about it. So this kid I'm so confused. So is it just trying to keep turning monsters? And why is its mother, actually I was going to say, why does her mother not stop her? But could she? She probably can't. But now I have questions because I'm thinking her mother must have touched her at some point and she hasn't, unless she has become a special infectee too. Ooh, I've got so many questions. What happened to her eye? All right, guys. Well, that was episode 5, and that was a lot. I feel that felt a little fillery. I'm not gonna lie, and maybe it's just because I feel like the newer people, the soldier, etc., they kind of came in like in effect, I'd say around episode 3. So I feel like I don't necessarily have the same connection to them that I did like last season. We kind of stuck with the same group of people throughout the show. And of course, we lost a few people along the way, but for the most part, it was the same group of people. Whereas with these soldiers, they were very much introduced, like I said, episode 2, episode 3, and they really weren't the focal point either. And so now having like almost an entire episode on them and these new survivors, it's a bit like, wait, who are these people? And not necessarily a bad thing, but it did feel a bit like, okay, why? I'm trying to like figure out like why this all plays into part with what I'm supposed to be knowing as the story, which Hyun-soo was the entirety of the story last season, and then he started to be a bit of the story this season, and then he's been gone now for 2 episodes. So that's very interesting as well. I'm wondering whether or not maybe Song Kang had some engagements somewhere in between filming, and maybe that's why it's kind of strange to have one of your lead actors not be part of 2 episodes when there's only 8 in the whole season. So anyway, I'm not sure what happened there, but anyways, yeah, we in this episode again, we're just focusing more on how things are going in this underground bunker situation. It's not good, just like I said last episode, just kind of reinforcing that things are still very tense, and now we're seeing that the military are starting to have their clashes as well, which makes sense because they're going to have their own ideologies as well, and the only thing that's really holding them together right now is the whole idea around the military and the idea of chain of command. That's very important. It's drilled into them in the military, so they're respecting it at the moment, but it's hanging on by a thread. And we're seeing that people's morality, their belief systems, all those things are starting to interfere with whether or not they think they're still doing the right thing. And we're seeing that some of them are not necessarily wanting to continue to protect everybody. Some of them are starting to think about themselves, their own interests. And that makes sense because it's one thing to sacrifice your life for other people, but you kind of have to feel like there's a point for all of it. And I think that some of the soldiers are losing what the point is. And not in the sense of not knowing it's the right thing to do, but as we're seeing, some of the soldiers are saying, like, we're all going to die anyways at this point. Like, what are we even fighting for? Like, is this shelter even worth protecting? Are these people worth protecting? What about what I want? Like, is this what my life's going to be? So these are all valid questions. And whatever you decide to do in life, you should have a purpose that makes sense to you as to why you're doing it. And seeing some of the soldiers question that is very natural. But yeah, something's gonna have to give because, as I said in the last episode, I think the main issue is that this is not a sustainable solution. This shelter has been very much out of necessity, but people need space. They need to be able to grow. They need to find other people as well. Like, it's getting very claustrophobic and a bit incestuous in there, if you know what I'm saying. Like, eventually people are going to need companionship, other things, and they're not going to be able to find it in this small group of people. So, and right now they have resources, but what happens when the medicine runs out? What happens when the food is no longer in an area that they can access with as much fuel as they have, right? So they need to find a more sustainable solution at some point, and that's going to definitely hinge on figuring out a way to deal with these monsters or possibly navigate these monsters so they can start to reach out and branch out and find more things and possibly more people. So yeah, just a lot of tension there, understandable with what's going on underground. We finally have some understanding of what happened between Eunyu and I always forget the woman who's running things. But yeah, that woman's husband. It sounds like they think she is the one who took her husband out. By the sounds of things, it looks like her husband he was changing, he was monsterizing. I'm guessing she didn't realize that. And this monster, who she believes is her brother, Eunyu, came and took out the husband, but left Eunyu alive. And so this is why everyone's like, it couldn't have been a monster attack, because if it was a monster attack, it would have taken out Eunyu as well. But Eunyu has said that no, like, this monster has saved me multiple times and let me live. So this is why she believes it's her brother. And then we saw that the other soldier, the good one, has, been questioning that annoying torture doctor about whether or not it's possible for monsters to actually have the cognition of picking their targets. He's saying that's impossible because, of course, he just wants to think of them as monsters because it justifies the atrocities he's done. But we already know from last season that it's absolutely possible for monsters to choose their victims, and some of them just choose not to. In his mind, he said it's only the one classification, the greens as he calls it, but we already know that it's not just the neo-humans. Other monsters have chosen not to hurt people as well, or only chosen to hurt some people if they felt endangered. So anyway, the point is he doesn't fully understand monsters yet, and so for him to be making these sweeping statements makes no sense. But anyhow, at least now we know what the beef is and why there is beef between Eunyu and this other leader, and we see that she is still hoping that Eunyu will turn so that she has an excuse to take her out. But I think the reality is she doesn't know what happened, right? And as I said, if there's anything we've learned about Eunyu, she does not hold her punches. She's been blunt since season 1. If she did do something to this woman's husband, she would have owned up to it. And again, I don't think she would have expected to stay underground with them if that's what she had done. But of course, they don't have enough evidence to say it was her conclusively, and I think that's the only reason she's still there. But as we see, it's not been fun for her, and she has a lot of enemies still. Speaking of the effects of what she's done, we see that she's taken on the older sister role for our young boy. I can't remember his name now, but the little boy who lost his sister earlier this season. We see that he is very much in his anger phase of grieving right now. Understandable. He's lost a lot. He lost a lot in a very short amount of time. And as he said, he doesn't understand why it keeps happening. And he used a line there along the lines of, I've been the good boy, like Dad said, and all these bad things still happen to me. So why should I still be good? Why should I continue to be good? And it kind of reminds me of, there's a very old movie, if you look it up, called Yours, Mine, and Ours. There's a remake, but the older original version of Yours, Mine, and Ours with Lucille Ball. There's a little kid in this movie, and I'm not going to give you the whole premise, but the whole point is he acts out during the movie, and his mother finally sits him down and is like, why do you keep acting out? Like, why do you keep being a bad boy? And he finally says, I don't want to be a good boy because good boys die young. And he's talking about his father who died in the army, right? So this mentality around like good people or heroes die or they don't survive, but the bad people keep people who do bad things seem to keep surviving. I understand how as a child you start to wonder, am I on the right side here, or what's the benefit to me doing the right thing when I keep having bad things happen to me? And he's very young, right? He doesn't understand that it's not a matter of bad things only happening to good people. Bad things happen to everybody, but how you handle it, how you deal with it, how you eventually handle it is really what makes a person quote unquote good or bad, so to speak. And it's never that black and white. But anyway, poor, it's hard for Eunyu to say anything to him because she's very much kind of in her own world trying to go after her brother. She's done a lot of reckless things in order to do that. But yeah, she's really trying her best to be a source of comfort to him. But she understands that there's not much she can say to him right now because she's going through her own grieving process. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how we're seeing the flip side of him being very gentle and passive in the first season and the beginning of this season. And now seeing him just being angry and violent and just trying to be the opposite, thinking that maybe that will help to deal with what he's dealing with and to survive. But yeah, hopefully he will get past that. But yeah, the only other thing in the episode, of course, was Junil and whatever's going on with him. He was touched by, the girl, but he hasn't turned. Apparently he's got the monsterization inside of him, but it hasn't activated yet. So again, we need to understand more about her powers, which I think we're going to learn as the season goes on. But I'm really actually anxious to get back to Hyung-soo. I want to know what's going on with him. Is he going to come back? I feel like we saw Hyun-soo do the exact same thing with his eyes that she does. So I think there's a key there. And I'm really thinking he might be part of putting this puzzle together. So yeah, really interesting episode. But like I said, in a way, I kind of felt like it was a bit fillery because I feel like we're just dealing with a lot of people we're not used to yet. But all in all, still very interesting. And I do think it gave us some pieces to move the plot along, which is what we need. So I enjoyed it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please leave some likes on this video and some comments below, and we will see you in the next episode.